Well, we have officially reached an England game that we care about as much as a Leeds game.
Yeah, you know what? Getting to a final seems relatively, that seems on the level of Leeds v Leicester in the Premier League.
Oh, I was going to go, I reckon I actually think that this is Leeds Man United, just not like Leeds Man United when we were both chasing the title. Leeds Man United this season.
Yeah.
I think this is episode 123, but to be honest, there is zero structure to this. The main reason that we're doing this, because obviously anyone who can be in the pub probably will be, all of that stuff, and that's where they should be. But me and KC are stuck inside as we've both got COVID. So what do I normally do before the big game? I normally have a beer and talk about it with KC. So I'll probably get a beer in a little bit, but I'm definitely talking with KC about the game. So obviously, your Leeds level nervous, but are your Leeds level pessimistic?
I'm cautiously optimistic, if I'm being honest. Having watched Italy throughout the tournament, I do think they are the best team in the tournament, but I also don't think in any way they're unbeatable. I genuinely feels like two good teams playing each other, which by all accounts means this will be a dreadful, dreadful game.
Well, I haven't checked exactly what it is, but I'm relatively sure that I think England are slight favourites, but 4-5, 10-11 to lift for trophy. It's really tight. I'm worried because I'm a little bit optimistic as well. Although I must admit that team news worries me a little bit. Have you seen it yet?
I have not.
Saka out, Trippier in, back three. The leaks say that Mount will play wide, Sterling wide, Kane in the middle, but I think it's got to be Mount in the middle and sort of Sterling and Kane central. With the wing backs providing the width. Because I can't see a world where we go 2v3, Phillips and Rice versus Verratti, Jorginho and Barella. Because I think if we go 2v3 in that situation, I think we're going to get killed.
Yeah, I think from what I was reading yesterday, a lot of the suggestions were that you have Mason Mount having to deal with Jorginho and kind of try and keep him occupied and try and drag him out so Harry Kane can drop in a bit deeper.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking it'd be. That's why I thought it'd be 4-2-3-1. Roughly you end up with Rice and Phillips on Barella and Verratti. Mount pushes on Jorginho. You can still do that with a back three. And if they do that and go central, I will understand it. But it does take away a lot of the potency of Sterling if he's forced in field.
Yeah, he has had a lot of joy, especially in these knockout games, of coming in from that left-hand side. And against Denmark, did very well on the right-hand side as well. Yeah, it'd be very interesting to see how he does then if that central area is going to be quite cluttered.
Yeah, you would assume, at least for first half of this game, you'd think he's probably going to be quite nervy and a bit low on quality, because big finals like this normally are, aren't they? I wouldn't expect a great game, but it doesn't these are the games where it doesn't matter whether it's a good game or not, because there's so much at stake that the nerves will carry it. A shite 0-0 will be one of the most enthralling things you've ever watched.
Yeah, you've definitely got to that point now where from the kickoff, I think Italy's first shot on target is going to have me nervous. Just the fact that they've had a shot, that we've allowed this to happen, even if Chiesa slices one off towards the corner flag. I'll be mad at Declan Rice for allowing that to happen.
Yeah, get tight to him, dude. He's 40 yards out. Chill. We'll all turn into my dad watching a game.
How late, England out?
I should say that is the only context in which my dad shouts out at strangers. Yeah, it's.
I don't know. I don't know. We took him down Greek Street once.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird. I was saying earlier to someone that I'm glad that I've been working today, because I don't know how I'd have got through all day with just without something to occupy my brain, because all I can think about is football, and not even tactically this and thinking about stuff. It's just pure God, I hope we win, and that's it.
Honestly, I just restarted Red Dead Redemption 2 today, which is very immersive. So I've just gone with that.
Yeah. Is that just so you can live in a world where it's impossible for you to have to isolate due to a disease?
Yeah, I'm basically roaming the outside on a horse. It's wonderful.
Yeah, it's probably a good... Actually, I should have nicked that idea, to be honest. Right, we haven't talked about many of the individual games on here. We have on Stand Your Ground, which is a Mates podcast, which is the one that isn't Leeds-centric, which you should all go listen to because it's quite good fun. So that's where we've talked about most of it. But through the tournament, I mean, obviously we're in the final, we've done well. But sort of how would you rate the performances through the tournament? How do you think we've done?
I honestly think you actually have to rate the group stage and the knockout round separately, because it does feel like you've watched two different England teams. We started well against Croatia, and then that kind of tailed off after that. It was a very poor performance against Scotland, and the second half against Czech Republic, I think there was a single shot by the Czechs that went wide, and England didn't have a shot all half. It was, I know we've come away with 7 points in the end, but it wasn't the most inspiring of runs at the group. And as soon as you saw we were playing Germany, those 3 games did not make you think, we'll be fine against them. But honestly, since that win against Germany, we've been fantastic.
Yeah, I mean, obviously everyone said that even though the group stages did exactly what we needed to do, but that Germany game, it was when you saw the other results leading into that, when you saw France go out and things like that, and you thought, if we beat Germany, it isn't just this is a chance to reach the final. It was, if we beat Germany, they really have to reach the final, which they've done. So, fair play, but it opened up so much. And the difference with this tournament, and because we had a pretty favourable draw in 2018 World Cup as well, to be fair, the difference is that Croatia game, although we lost, I was pretty certain whoever wins this is losing to France in the final. With this one, once I saw the run, once France went out, I thought there's no one in this tournament we can't beat. And now, as it goes, France threw it away anyway. But on paper, they were the only team that I thought, yeah, they are just better than us. I think Italy, through the tournament, probably have been slightly better than us, but I don't think there's out in it. I think they're both good sides. There's only the French that I think stand out. So this is such a massive opportunity.
No, I think with Italy, the main thing was that while they had an easier draw than us in the group stages, they also went through very convincingly.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it wasn't just convincing. I mean, it wasn't convincingly. It was head and shoulders above everyone else, really. Because they didn't just win comfortably. They won comfortably, playing good. Not it wasn't that it was attacking. It was that they were the ones putting on all the pressure and, pressing the ball and stuff, which obviously we love to see. But you do wonder if that might have taken more out of their legs than the England players have. Because the only person in the England side who's pressing his bollocks off, there's some pressing, but the only one who's pressing his bollocks off is Calvin. And let's be right, he does not get tired.
No, I think the stats that came out from the Denmark game about the areas in which he was pressing, he was pressing more than anyone else in our third or the middle, and then I think he was second in the attacking third of the field.
I did see that stat going around on Twitter, and it was the total pressures were, it was somewhat daft, second place was 13 and he was 30 odd. It was a big difference. But he's just. I know that we're very Leeds centric, and on here we can be, but God, I'm so fucking proud of him.
Yeah, it's been fantastic watching him. Obviously, it was kind of the Croatia game was his step up onto the world stage, and kind of announcing himself as an international. But since then, he's carried on his form really well. His statistics that are coming out of each game are fantastic. Just the amount of ground. I think in the last game, I think obviously because he was on for 120 minutes, he covered a ridiculous amount of ground. Was it about 15 kilometers or something like that?
It was over 15 kilometers, I think. Yeah.
It was, it's madness. The thought of running a kilometer absolutely terrifies me.
Well, it's the thought of us running a kilometer is illegal.
But yeah, his performance has been fantastic, and it's very nice to. I think we said it after the Germany game. It was quite nice seeing a German midfield of Bayern Munich and Real Madrid players being beaten by West Ham and Leeds players.
Yeah. That is one thing that, and don't get me wrong, within 1 week of the Premier League season starting, this will all go away. But an England team doing this well doesn't have to do a lot for certain players, and just get rid of some of that, that stupid football hate that we all have. I don't dislike Jack Grealish at all now. I'm sure I will 2 weeks into next season. I was like a lot of people. I was looking at teams and going, I mean, like the fact that I went into this tournament saying it's Phillips or Rice, it's Phillips or Rice, it's Phillips or Rice. And I wasn't one of them getting into massive arguments with West Ham fans, but I thought about it, going, no, it's Phillips, it's not Rice. Rice can't lace Phillips's boot. When the truth is, they're both really good.
I've been really impressed with that. Those two as a unit, I think, have been excellent so far in the tournament, and I don't know if there's a level of jealousy now between Ben White and Declan Rice that seem to be. I don't know if Declan Rice is stealing Calvin's affections at this point.
Declan's not getting in there. No, he's not. Not even close. No one looks at anyone like Calvin Phillips and Ben White look at each other. It's not a romantic thing. That is love. There is love between those people. And rightly so, because, I mean, look at them. They're both just such handsome, nice boys.
I'm guessing you saw the video Leeds put out today then for Calvin.
Yeah, I said, it's big when Batty comes out.
And David Batty has a dog. It's good to... It's like... I think it's like in How I Met Your Mother when they start trying to piece things together they know about Robin. It's like, oh, today I learned David Batty has a dog.
Of course he has a dog. He should have 12 whippets.
It's just good to know.
Like, what does David Batty come out for? He came out for that. He came out to clap for the NHS and to shill season tickets that 1 year, which was weird. When they did the Cook, Mowat, Taylor.
And he's sat there watching them.
Yeah. Byron. I couldn't remember who the fourth one was there.
He was the other one where I think one of them
Josh
was
Warrington's
injured.
in it as well.
Yeah, Josh Warrington's there. I'm trying to remember which one of them isn't actually like, because it's them against like a group of kids, isn't it? And then I think it's Sam Byram's not allowed to play because he's actually injured at the time as well.
Yeah.
So one of them's just stood there watching on as Alex Mowat is, I assume tried to leather one in from 30 yards at every opportunity.
Yeah, it was good to see because Alex Mowat and Louis Coyle were in the video, weren't they?
Yeah, Louis Coyle tactfully wearing his Hull City top for recording.
I think that's fine. Are you going to slag him off, given that his brother's a professional boxer?
No. I wasn't going to slag him off anyway, though, because I'm weak.
Yeah. Fucking
yeah, it was a nice collection of people. I don't know if Parag would have been the person I would have kicked it off with.
Yeah, it was a bit like, don't get me wrong, Parag Marath seems like a nice bloke, all the interviews he's done. And they've invested some money into Leeds, so fair play. His decision-making seems sound so far. But it was a bit weird that he was in it. I'm also glad Radrizzani didn't pretend he wanted England to win.
He's like, I'm not going to say good luck, but I am proud of you.
But if you want to play well and lose.
And then Mark Viduka making another surprise appearance, looking very relaxed in his vest.
Yeah, in what can only be described as an idyllic location.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Having a fantastic time wherever he is.
Isn't he in Zagreb and he runs like a coffee shop or something?
I don't know, but if that's true, let's go. I don't drink coffee.
Can we make it so we're allowed out of his houses first? Before we plan Zagreb.
Jack, that is but a distant dream for me right now.
Yeah, we'll just go straight to the semi-final because it was a tough one. And as much as fun as the Ukraine game was, there isn't loads to say because it was so one-sided. But I thought we were good value for beating Denmark. I know it took extra time and everything, but I think they had to play the second half extra time with 10 men as well. Not that the ITV commentators noticed. But it was... I think that no matter what happened there, we were going to win. They looked knackered. They did look absolutely exhausted, especially, I think that's why they made so many changes so early. I think they had to.
Yeah, there was, it must have been around the 60-minute mark when they made that triple sub. And after that, it very much took the sting out of their game. And there wasn't really, there was that one deflected shot, I think, that Pickford had to save. But outside of that, it was all England after that. And it was just a case of, can Yannick Vestergaard keep it? And Kasper Schmeichel, can those two men keep England out again? Because it was attack after attack. And then, stoppage time. And I know, obviously, by that point, not in extra time, that once we've gone a goal ahead and they're a man down. But the way we kept the ball, it was so professional.
And it was so not England, just keeping the ball for like 2.5 minutes.
I don't know if you watched, actually. They showed the 66 World Cup final yesterday on Channel 4. Because I've never...
I knew they were doing it, but I didn't actually see it. I was working and stuff, so...
I've never really watched it before outside of the highlights. So I started watching with about half an hour left. And I will say, it's actually a very entertaining game to watch. There's very little midfield. But there is no, certainly from England anyway, there is no gamesmanship. There is no game management at all. Just 2-1 up with 2 minutes left. And I don't know if taking the ball to the corner has been invented yet. But that's what they needed to do. And they didn't. And it's either Martin Peter or Bobby Charlton is still trying to score.
Yeah.
And then they just take a goal kick and go down the other end, get the free kick and score. You're just like, no, just keep hold of the ball. Like, I know you've gone forward. Bobby, you don't need to score.
Yeah,
it will be fine. And I know in the end it works out fine. And Jeff Hurst has a hat-trick, so he's thrilled. But when you're watching the game, just no, lads, right. Just stop what you're doing a second. This isn't how we play football.
Yeah. So is it that you don't realise how far things move on and how quickly? It's almost like I wish I could travel back in time. What would you do? Oh no, I'd just go back. I wouldn't even go back miles. I'd just go back to 1984, and I'd be a genius football coach with all my modern ideas.
Yeah, if I could basically get there ahead of Arsene Wenger and be like, right, guys, drinking isn't going to help anything.
Yeah, stop eating chips.
Egg and chips is not a pre-match meal anymore, guys. Come on.
It is Tots Sean Derry.
Yeah, fair play. But yeah, it was. It's an entertaining game to watch. I will say that, certainly for the hour that I watched, it was actually quite entertaining because whatever happened, one, when you don't have the back pass rule, goal kicks are cheating because all that happens is a short goal kick outside of the area, pass back to the keeper, picks it up, lumps it forward. And again, you're just looking good. That's surely not allowed.
Yeah, it was one of them you're going, how did they not change this rule until the 92-93 season?
I mean, it's probably for the best. I don't know if John Lukic could have had a career without the back pass rule, clearly.
Well, I was too young to know, but there's a lot of people who were there who say that's why we dropped off so badly. That's why we went from, what was it, 1st to 17th for next season.
And again,
the back pass rule was the total end of it.
Like, clearly, I didn't see enough of, well, because I was a baby at the time, but even now, I haven't seen enough of Wilkinson's football pre-winning the league and then the season after to know how vital to us the back pass rule seemingly was.
Yeah.
Because I remember the first time I read that, I think Gordon Strachan said so, and I was just there thinking, this can't be right. This team cannot be built solely on, like, we've got some quality players there. No, what actually did it was our use of the back pass rule. Like, no, that's not how this works.
I'll tell you what, I bet it just jumped into my head from that semi-final. I bet you were up on your feet 2 minutes in when Denmark did that. Definitely a back pass.
I think they had two. Fucking insanity.
There was the 2 minutes in, because now people don't even appeal for them because they know it's not getting given, and they all appealed for that one. That's how much of a back pass it was.
I was feeling rough as fuck, but I stood up and just, no, back pass, come on. One's got to get given one day.
Yeah. Maybe today's the day. Chiellini to Donnarumma.
If one day you'll just see
and
me,
the shot goes into the wall and comes out to Cal,
who skies it over the bar. No, one day a back pass will get given, and I'll just stand up and walk away with a smile on my face, going, "That's it." It's like, KC, there's 70 minutes left. No.
The game has peaked.
I've won.
Yeah, it will be tough, this, because I must admit I'm scared of Italy's midfield a bit. It's really good. And it's not even just like it's those three. Like that Pessina that was added to the squad late looks pretty good. And Locatelli looks really good. So even the two sort of backing him up are a real danger. But Jorginho doesn't scare me as much on the pitch. He's really good, but he's really good at what he does. And I think if we put a man on him, we can be all right. It's Verratti, but the one thing is, I haven't watched all of them, so I might be off base here. I haven't watched him as much as some other people have. But whenever I've seen Verratti in a really big game, I can't actually remember him having a good one.
I'm just looking. I'm looking at the Italy team now, and I think it's one of those teams that's strong and it's got some very good depth to it as well. I think we talked about it before, but I wasn't massively impressed with Donnarumma in the semi-final. I thought he looked shaky at times. His decision making was.
Some of his kicking was really poor. By the way, just while it comes up, looks like Kiko's off to Elche. Either on a permanent if he can sort out a termination of his contract, or a loan with an option if he can't.
Do you want a very Alan Partridge-like response to that is entirely true?
Yeah.
Elche has a cracking zoo.
But does it have a cracking owl sanctuary?
I think there were owls. I'm saying this. I have been to this. I don't know if it's a zoo. I think it described itself as a safari park, and it definitely wasn't one of those.
You sure it wasn't the football stadium, right?
No, this is. I have fed a giraffe there. So yeah, These are things I am aware of Elche. It has a zoo.
Dude, that wasn't a giraffe, it was Nikola Zigic.
Wonder why he looked familiar when he scored 4 against us.
Yeah. No, it is. I mean, it's a very good squad, and Mancini's got them playing. But you wouldn't believe they didn't qualify for 2018 World Cup. It's been a serious turnaround.
No, it was a very strange time for football. Clearly, between especially with them and the Netherlands.
Yeah, at least they're still not particularly great. But Italy suddenly look like world beaters. I do think we can get at their wing backs though. Although now that we're apparently only going to have the wing backs for width. I mean, I know Sterling will drift, so it'll be fine. But I was thinking with wide players and fullbacks, like Emerson Palmieri on left. There's a reason he doesn't even get near the Chelsea side. He's not awful, but he's like a mile off Chilwell and Marcos Alonso.
Yeah, he's really not played a lot of football in the last year, has he? Well, the last couple of years, I suppose. Yeah, he's probably someone that you would look for us to get at. So I suppose that's Kieran Trippier at this point.
Yeah, and Trippier, I like Trippier, but he's not. It's not sort of Kyle Walker level pace getting up and down the wing.
No. No, but I will be very interested to see how they end up working it with Mount Kane and Sterling with this formation. I
can only see it being Mount central. You know, the midfield being as if it was 4-2-3-1. And then instead of obviously Mount's not wide, so Sterling isn't wide, and Sterling kind of plays as the second striker behind Kane.
Yeah.
Because I said it at the start of this, I can only see him doing that because I just think if you let it be Verratti, Jorginho, Barella versus Phillips and Rice, even if they both have great games, they're not winning that battle 2-on-3.
Yeah.
And if Mount and Sterling are wide, because it sounds like it is Mount, if it was, say it was Sancho and Sterling, or Sterling and Rashford even, as much as I wouldn't start Rashford in this game, maybe they'd have been thinking Kane drops deep so often that he can sort of half pick up Jorginho. I wouldn't advise that, but maybe. So I can only assume Mount's going to basically play central as well. I mean, don't go wrong, I'm not giving any guff to Southgate win the final. He's done a really good job and he seems like a nice bloke, so I'm good with that. But it's a big call to change the formation, because he's not even changing. I don't think he's changing to the previous 3 at the back formation. I think he's changing to a formation that he hasn't played the entire time for the final, which is a big call.
Yeah, that worked well for Kevin Blackwell.
Oh yeah, he did do that, didn't he?
He did go to 5 at the back for some reason. The reason, we were coming up against the likes of Malky Mackay and Matt Spring, so best go 5 at the back.
Yeah. So
David Healy out wide.
I'm glad I didn't go down to. I mean, not that I would have, and not that I can leave the house, but I just flicked Twitter on to see if anything major had broke. And Cass have lost by 70 points to 18 at home.
Wow.
That's not good.
Who were they playing?
Salford. I think they had a load of kids in because it's the Challenge Cup final next week.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so I think they were playing a load of kids. I hope they were playing a load of kids. Not that it's going to help. They'll lose to Saints.
Yeah. But they've been well rested.
Yeah. It's going to be. Have you? Obviously, we can't go. I'm dying to be at the pub. I can't pretend I'm not jealous and everything. But have you seen some of the videos from London?
No, not yet. I've not been on Twitter for a couple of hours.
It looks mental.
It's going to be amazing.
I'll tell you what it looks like. It looks like a load of rugby union university societies have showed up, is what it looks like. It isn't just a load of really drunk people. It's a load of really drunk people being naked for no apparent reason.
He's got a chest piece stuck up his ass. But
Yeah,
it's just a laugh. It's just a laugh.
I've seen fireworks up people's asses already.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you where I've thought has looked interesting every time they cut to it. That box park seems to look like quite a fun venue, because I think that's got all the food trucks there, and then Atomic Kitten and John Barnes turn up at times.
Yeah.
And Stormzy as well. That's where he was before he went to that house party.
Stormzy, no interest in his music, not my sort of thing, but he, again, seems like a good bloke.
Yeah. I'm quite jealous of seeing people at the fan, like Paddy Power have got that one up in Newcastle as well, haven't they? I think a lot of venues like that that look like they'd be a lot of fun to go to.
They can keep all of them. I want to be in a local. I mean, I want to be at the game, but like I genuinely, there is, as I ended up having to work today anyway, it would have never happened. But if I obviously wouldn't have had COVID and wouldn't have been working, I think there's a very real danger I'd have gone down to London with no ticket and a few grand in my pocket and gone, right, I'm getting hold of a ticket. It would have been a really stupid idea. I have a 3-month-old. I really shouldn't do that. But I think there's a very real danger it would have happened.
See, when you're broke, that's not an option. So it stops you from making stupid decisions like that.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what you're missing. You should count yourself lucky, you skint. Welcome to Tory Britain. You're lucky.
My stupid decision was the other day when I thought, well, I'm going to be stuck at home for 10 days now. What am I going to do? And I bought 2.75 kilograms worth of sweets.
You see, Casey, I knew there's a reason we're friends. Yeah, again,
I'm stuck indoors and can't really go anywhere or talk to anyone. Well, I best eat.
Yeah, my self-isolation. Sister rings me up. You know, oh, do you need me to bring you like eggs or milk or bread or like that? No, but I ain't got any beer in for final on Sunday, so if you could bring me some beer. And you know what? She brought me fucking Moretti as well. I can't drink that. Not until after the game.
Well, that can be, and then you're just drinking it thinking, that'll learn you.
Yeah, after the game I can drink it, but not
coming over here with your delicious beers.
I've never had it before, but I have some Dutch beer, some Orange Boom. So hopefully that's nice. Hopefully that's nice, because that's what that's what I'm drinking.
Yeah. Because we're very much, well, obviously it started straight away, but now I just feel like I'm on the countdown until I can go back to the pub.
Yeah. Like genuinely, as for what people at home, our Freedom Day is the same day. We're both free on Friday the 16th. I am working until 10 o'clock at night, but maybe the Anchor. Like, if it's open, I might sneak in for an hour at the end when it'll be dead. Obviously, one thing that didn't come up on here, I did put it on our Twitter, but I had my excellent result because I've backed Sterling and Kane to both score 2-0 every single game, and obviously against Germany, that happened. I have backed it again for tonight, 50-1. So my prediction is, of course, 2-0, Kane and Sterling. What are you reckoning for tonight?
I'm going to stick with my... I'm not going to hedge my bets like I do sometimes between the two podcasts we do. I'm going to stick with a 2-1 win.
You picking out any goal scorers?
No.
No.
No, that would be too easy.
Yeah, this is massive. This because I've seen a few people on Twitter on about this, and don't get me wrong, it will annoy me. But I've seen luckily I haven't seen anyone saying I hope we don't win it because, apart from people who were kidding. I have seen people going, I'm not looking forward to this being hijacked by all the jingoistic people. And yeah, that's going to happen. It's going to be really annoying, but it's going to be worth it. Just ignore them. It's fine. if Boris Johnson wants to pretend to be a football fan, everyone knows he isn't. No.
The argument I've found quite funny, really, and I saw it today was, and I'm not saying it's exclusively them, but there is I've seen a lot of the "I'm Scouse, not English."
Yeah, they're suddenly. I've heard very little of that the last few days.
I've still seen a few of them today, but one of them I saw of, and it was someone complaining about how people are allowed to, the 60,000 people allowed to go to the game, but people still can't visit relatives in hospitals. Our country's turned our back on us. That's why I'm supporting Italy. I was like, yeah, but Gareth Southgate didn't bring in these mandates. That's not him.
Yeah. That's annoying. I'll give you that's annoying. It's not a reason to not
listen. That logic is absolutely sound up until I'm not rooting for the England team.
Yeah, it's weird. The problem is with anything like this, you're gonna get asked. It's like supporting any team. It's the same with Leeds. It's the same with anything. You're gonna end up supporting the same team as some arseholes. And you know what the arseholes are thinking when they hear me say this? Not that enough people listen to our podcast for that to happen. They're thinking, I can't believe I'm supporting the same team as this arsehole. It's fine. Yeah. Don't worry about it. If tomorrow when you read all over Twitter and Farage is saying that somehow this is a victory for Brexit, just fucking ignore him. It's fine. For one day, if we win this, for a few days, just try and be happy about it. And I know this is so not me. I never fucking say shit like this. But on this occasion, if we win, just fucking enjoy it no matter what. I can't leave the house and I'm going to just enjoy it. Like, I'm looking forward to this so much. I can't remember the last time that I sat at home and went, right, I cannot wait for this game, and I was by myself. Like, even Leeds games that I've had to watch by myself, it wasn't like this, because the only ones I've been at home by myself for that were big, none of them that were big. They were just Leeds games.
Yeah.
Like, even like the Man City game, you were here. So, and yes, that happened. Well. Then we stopped doing things like that, and then we got COVID.
Yeah. Then we started going to public.
Yeah, and then we started going to the pub.
Yay.
Oh, God.
It's fun now. We've both survived.
Yeah, literally, by the way.
Just about.
Yeah, so, yeah, obviously I've seen our live numbers for this. They're next to none, as they should be. Yeah. But if those of you who are listening, seriously, if you are in a position to go to the pub or something, I really would advise it, because even if it goes wrong, this is going to be a good one to be out for. And yeah, at the end of the night, you're probably going to find some drunk assholes, but
yeah,
it happens.
When we win, if you see someone who's about to try and jump on top of an ambulance or something, maybe just be like, don't do that. But also don't physically try and restrain them.
Yeah, if people, that's the other thing though. Now, again, no one watches ours live, but I really hope, win or lose, people don't do shit like that. And I know they're gonna, because there's drunk people are idiots, and drunk people are idioter. Like, it's just.
I don't like London, but don't smash London up.
I think you'll find it's called Sterlingrad.
Only if we win.
That's great, by the way. I know that obviously they can't do it, but I'd fucking love that, because it'd piss off all the right people. It'd make everyone so mad. That actually, Raheem Sterling brings me to something I was going to ask. Have you got any picks for our player at tournament, or the overall one for that matter?
England, you've probably got to say Raheem Sterling.
Yeah, you're right. Calvin Phillips is.
I mean, for me, it's one of those two. Love Calvin. Yeah. I think Raheem Sterling has been fantastic and has terrified defenders the whole time.
Yeah, I think I'd have to go for Sterling, because even his bad games, he's been a threat. Like, it was crap again. Which game was like the opening game? Obviously 1-0. I thought for the most part he had a poor game, but he scored the goal. And in most of the other games, he's been really good. The first game against Croatia was like the opposite of the semi-final. Because in the semi-final, he was outstanding, except for his finishing. Whereas again, in the first game, he was poor and took his chance. But overall, I think he has been his best player.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a player at the tournament. To be honest, which is kind of funny in as much as there's normally, obviously, when you go in, there's kind of the typical players that are in there, but most of those players have been eliminated relatively early on.
If there's a lot to be said for,
fuck it, Patrick Schick. It's him. It's basically him.
Yeah. If Italy win it, just because of the way the media's talking and stuff, if Italy win it, I think Jorginho might win it because he has been excellent in every game. And I just think that'll be enough to carry him through. Before he did his Achilles, and I don't think you can hold that against him. I still think there's an argument for Spinazzola. Because I thought he was absolutely brilliant in every game. You could probably also, right, I know in domestic football it's 24, but is it 21 and under for young player at international tournaments?
I think so, yeah. I think it's 21 and 22.
Because I think Damsgaard is 22. Because he'd been with a late shout. Oh, no, he's only 21. He's in with a really good shout, a young player then. Because it's not like...
I'll stick with the Leeds logic. Calvin Phillips for young player of the tournament.
Yeah. Yeah, because he's not 25. He doesn't age. He's not allowed to age.
I feel like he won young player of the season last season.
Yeah, I think it was LUFC Data put out a tweet who said Calvin Phillips is on the verge of immortality, and everyone went, awesome, he can anchor the midfield for 100 years. But I'm nervous for this. It's... I'm just trying to think. It's not as big as the biggest Leeds games, but it really is getting to me like that. The good thing with games like this, and we were saying this, I don't think we were on the air when we were on about it, but I don't think that this isn't going to hurt me like losing the playoff final to Donny.
No.
If it goes wrong.
No. Obviously, it'll be upsetting, but I don't know. Between Leeds and England, I've been hurt so many times before that the defeat here is still success.
Yeah, that is one thing that it will. Don't get me wrong. In the minute or two after, you're not going to remember that. But this is a successful tournament. If we get beat 3-0, this is a massively successful tournament. It's only the second final we've ever got to. A friend of ours, Alex Bennison, who hosts the other podcast we do, Stand Your Ground. I hope if we win, Calvin has a Granny Val shirt ready. I'm sure he does, but he had that for the semi-final anyway, so he's already paid his tribute, and rightly so. Alex did actually send us a picture earlier today. BT Sport put out there was a big graphic, and it was all it was the team walking down Wembley Way, like Photoshop, and they all had numbers and names up back of a shirt, except Calvin had the Granny Val shirt on, which I thought was a nice touch from him.
Yeah. I've just got a list here that a friend of mine posted earlier and bit of a similar age to us. So it's memories of England in major tournaments. 96 penalty shootout heartache. 98 penalty shootout heartache. 2000 woeful group stage exit. 2002 David Seaman lobbed. 2004-2006 penalty shootout heartache. 2008 didn't qualify. 2010 woeful performance in the last 16 exit. 2012 penalty shootout heartache. 2014 woeful group stage exit. 2016 woeful loss to Iceland. 2018 semi-finals. 2020 major tournament final.
I know that this is a very good generation of players, but that does speak very highly of Gareth Southgate.
Yeah, that team I think in about 2006. you put that England squad out there with the right manager, and I think it should comfortably win or at least be in the final of a major tournament. Once you're looking at peak Gerrard, Ashley Cole, Rio Ferdinand, probably got to put Wayne Rooney on there as well. Yeah. Like all of the if we'd have essentially learned how to use Joe Cole, I think we'd have won a World Cup.
We'd have definitely that team. I'm not saying it should have won something because winning international tournaments is hard, but it should have had a better goal than it did.
Yeah, should have been better than putting Jamie Carragher on in extra time to take a penalty to then miss the penalty against Portugal.
By the way, I'm saying this now because Southgate never takes Phillips off. He took him off once. Had it gone 4-0 yet? I think it had, hadn't it? 4-0 to protect him when he was a booking away from suspension, and that's it. And that's great. But if it's level in the 119th minute, Gareth, please take him off. Because I
don't need to see him take a penalty.
I do not. I don't think I can. I still know exactly what it felt like when David Batty missed in '98, and I was an 8-year-old child. I can't. Just take him off. Leave Rice on. Rice takes penalties for West Ham.
I'm trying. We'd have a decent selection of penalty takers out of our squad.
Yeah, who obviously Kane would be first up. You would assume.
Sterling would probably fancy himself.
I'll tell you what. I really like. I love Raheem Sterling. He's great. I don't fancy him on a penalty.
You don't think that 40-yard walk could help?
I don't fancy anyone that plays for Man City. Man City can't take penalties. It's a weird thing. They're like Spain. Spain can't take penalties either.
I'd fancy Mount to do it. I'd fancy, if he's on the pitch, Grealish. Like I said, Declan Rice.
I fancy Kieran Trippier.
Yeah. I don't know why. I feel like Kyle Walker would be well up for it.
Yeah, Walker, he isn't technically great, but he doesn't seem like the sort that'd be overawed by it.
Harry Maguire seems like the sort of man who will just come up and absolutely leather it.
I wouldn't want him in the first five, but both Maguire and Stones, I wouldn't have any trouble. I think that they'd both be fine.
In fact, I've seen Jordan Pickford's penalty before. Get him on the list.
Yeah. But although that, I really hope it don't go to penalties. It'd be such a cruel way. Like, obviously, that would probably be the most euphoric way to win it as well. It's like that thing of if you're guaranteed to win either way, you'd rather win the playoffs than come second because it's way more euphoric. But you just want to win, so give me second place, please. So like this would be a bit like that. You'd take a win anyway, but I'm not sure that, the NHS is already struggling. I don't think that penalties would help it.
No. Could put a bit of strain on the old ticker of well over 1 million people.
Yeah, you're just going to get. Although I'll tell you who would do well if we did lose on penalties: Curry's. The number of remotes going through TVs.
Yeah.
So
it's gonna be a very interesting country to wake up to tomorrow.
Yeah, regardless of how this goes, just drunken bodies in the streets. But it's just whether they're passed out smiling or not.
Two people just have fallen asleep, strangling each other, and sort of cuddling at the same time.
Yeah, it'll look like a Cold War Steve picture.
Yeah.
Just this guy, just Karl Marx books everywhere.
Oh God! God, I think that's the end of Marxism. To be honest, if we lose this game,
yeah, that's the only hope for them, isn't it? We've got to win. Seize the means of production, and by that I mean mark Italy's midfield really well. Right. Right. I reckon that'll do us. I think we've killed time to nearly the build-up. Obviously, this is going to be this. This is just going to be so stressful. But it's great that we're here. This team is. I'm not big on the whole, over dramatizing football and stuff. But I have seen a lot of seemingly genuine stuff from like a lot of, especially sort of Asian women of color, things like that, saying, I've never really been fussed for football and especially the England team. And this is the thing that this team has got me into it. And that is such a good thing because they really do seem like it's the same as the current Leeds side. They all seem like just really nice people. And that helps immeasurably because, don't get me wrong, the England team that was full of, your John Terrys, who I didn't like, I was dying for them to win a World Cup, so I'm not the person it really affects. But it does seem to have made a real difference.
Yeah, I try and look back at sort of that period for England and wonder if they would, John Terry aside, like also a nice bunch and we just didn't get to see it, or if there was just something about them that was.
Yeah, I think there's something to that, to be fair.
But at the same time, I'm trying to imagine one of these England players, saying down the lens of a camera, nice to hear your own fans booing you. Like, yeah, but Wayne, they've travelled to South Africa for a 0-0 draw with Algeria. They weren't going to be happy. Sorry, this is an aside. I think we mentioned it before. I did see a side-by-side picture of Wayne Rooney, 35 now, and Fernandinho, 36 now. And Fernandinho looks absolutely fantastic.
Rooney's not the person to compare him to, though, is he?
No, but he is the go-to.
Yeah.
That's what everyone uses anyway.
No,
it's either him or Neil Shipley. It's one of those two.
And the one other slight question I had in my head that'll get us up towards the hour mark. Do you think there's a chance for anyone unexpected to steal the headlines in this one?
Ooh. I'm trying to think who will be the people that will come on, because I think obviously if we're losing or if it's 0-0, we'll probably see Grealish come on.
I think we'll see Grealish come on if we're winning, to be honest. I think Grealish gets on no matter what.
Get him on, sub him off after 10 minutes, keep him grounded. Certainly for England, I don't think so, just because I would be very surprised, unless someone gets injured and it leads to Tyrone Mings scoring the winning header. That he's fairly consistent with the players he uses and the changes he makes. I mean, God, I hope it's Ben White. Really, that'd be the brilliant story that Ben White comes on for. That how is it that Mings and Connor Cody both came on and came off injured, and then Ben White's come on and won it? That's the real story here.
Yeah, it's. I was thinking. I think the only way I can see anything happening is if Harry Kane gets injured. And even though I think he'd put Rashford on, and then Calvert-Lewin ends up getting something, but I think he'd bring Rashford on anyway.
Yeah, I would love. I think for the way he's played in his couple of performances, I would really like Bukayo Saka to come away with a goal if there was any chance of him coming on. I think it'd be a great story for him. He's 19.
Yeah, and he's handled himself brilliantly in this tournament because of it. I wouldn't have even thought about starting him at wing, to be honest, with the options we've got coming into the tournament, and he's come in and played brilliantly.
Yeah, he's done a great job. I thought it was excellent against Denmark, and I think had he been on for a bit longer, could have probably caused a bit more of a threat later on. But no, I'd like to say that I'm struggling to think of anyone who would be sort of a surprise to come into the game at this point.
Yeah,
because like if Marcus Rashford comes on, like outside of injury, Rashford probably isn't in your first couple of subs for coming on at this point. But he is also a Man United player who has a very high profile.
Yeah. No, like people who you expect, like, I don't think it's been because Foden missed training yesterday, didn't he? So that might bump Sancho up by one. But going into the tournament, he wouldn't have been a surprise at all to have a big impact. It's just now that he isn't being given chances, really.
Yeah. Aaron Ramsdale. He's going to be the hero somehow.
That would be a shock. That would be the biggest shock if the third choice keeper was one of them.
I think Calvert-Lewin will be pissed when Southgate decides to put Ramsdale up front instead of him.
Yeah.
Pulls a David James on. It's like, no, John Macken, sit down.
John Macken's the hero. Wow. Now, wait, I reckon that'll do us, right? We'll get ourselves set up for the game. I'll go have my first beer in a week, because that's how long I've been stuck inside. But I will make sure to not drink any of them until after this is done, because the stop funding hate. No, for the next couple of hours, stop funding Italy. Yes, they have already been bought. Shut up. So, that will do us for, I think this was episode 123. I didn't look before I came out. So, God, come on, England, just win. God, just win. So, I've been believe in the she. So, yeah, I've been Jack. See ya.
I've been Casey. Have a good one.
Depending on how this goes, we're both stuck inside. We might be back tomorrow. Right, in a bit.
Cheers.